Hello, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, and welcome. And as the caption says, better get yourself a brew. It's going to be a long one. Yorkshire tea. Can't beat it. Sponsorship availabilities. Anyone works for Yorkshire tea, feel free to get in touch. I'll keep saying that until they get in touch with me. Nothing yet, I haven't heard. Anyway, yeah, I didn't tell you who I am. A lot of you will know. It's Nurse Richard, the Wax Wizard. Thank you for joining me. About 15, 16 minutes long, this one. It's 2 ears, but both of the same patient. But it's this first ear here, which is the one that gave me all the trouble. The other one it took a couple of minutes, and that's at the end of this video. So stay tuned after you see this one. And it gave me trouble for a lot of reasons. When I first looked at it, after I picked my heart up off the floor, because it always sinks to your boots when you see one like this, you could just tell it was rock solid. The start of it was anyway. When I actually started getting in there, it was a bit softer, but then it was another bit rock solid further deep down. So when you see one like that, it's always a good idea, I find, to start with the tools. Yes, I do use tools. For those of you who say, you never get some out. Well, they do. When I need them, I do. You don't often see many videos of me using tools. And the reason is, a lot of those take seconds. I would have to put about 20 procedures in to fill 5 minutes. A lot of them, you stick it in, pull it out, that's it, job done. But you can't do that with every procedure. And this is one of those ones that needed a bit of everything to get it out. Because it was hard, but when I got into it, it was a bit mushy in places as well. All the things you don't want. And it's also quite a small ear entrance. Tiny, in fact. That'll become a bit more obvious towards the end because I'm stretching. That's why it's so close to the wax, the camera. I'm stretching it open with the endoscope. But as I'm pulling it out through the entrance, you'll get to see and appreciate just how small this thing is. But I'm making a bit of headway with a combination of the curette and the hook, which are almost now becoming my favourite tool for a couple of reasons. I broke my last Cawthorn hook, bent it, stood on it. so I'm still waiting to find a good supplier for a new Cawthorn hook. But I just like the double-ended bob, just because you don't have to keep moving around and grabbing for another tool when it's right there on the other end. You just spin it around and there it goes. It's fabulous. So once again, thanks to Neil for being cleverer than all of us and having the persistence to come up with these things. It's probably all ideas that many people have thought of, but to actually go to the effort of doing it takes some doing. So doff my cap to him. These are some of his new suction tools as well. His new suction probes, which, and I told him this, they were very, very useful for a couple of reasons. In fact, I'll show you because I have got some here. And hopefully this doesn't distract you too much from this procedure, but I've got to think of something else to say because it goes on a bit, this one. So I'll start by showing you what we used to use. Bear with me on this because I haven't got it out of the wrapper. Right, so that was the standard tube that we all used to use, and some still do. And you can see the handle there, that's attached to the tube. You can't get that off. So if you want to change sizes, and these were the only two sizes you can get from these other manufacturers, you have to grab that smaller one, that's the fine end, and stick it in there, and you can appreciate just how tiny that thing is. But what it also does, it makes it a lot longer, so it can be a bit unwieldy. Sometimes you have to be like, you'd like to be nearer to it, you know, so it makes it unnecessarily long doing that. But Neil, being the clever little sausage that he is, came up with these, and I'm glad he did because it's taken minutes off a lot of procedures for me. So for a start, the handle is separate He's not sponsoring me to do this, by the way. I just thought some of you might be interested. So the handle is separate, and I think it's a lot more comfortable to hold on to, actually, especially for we all use slightly different grips. And this one is the new fine end, so you can see it's all on one piece, so it's not unnecessarily long. Actually, that's not the fine end, that's 17. So that's slightly bigger than a fine end. Oops, that's a fine end. But all the tubes, they're all one piece. If you need to swap them mid-procedure, you just take that one off, put another one on. And the varying sizes are so handy to keep swapping between. You know, you've got from 14, which is the full-size tube, which is that one. That's 14. And the end of that is 18. And what Neil's done is given us 14, well, all of them basically. I tend to use the 14, 16, 17, 18. They're all really great. So if there are any other specialists who watch these videos of mine, I would highly recommend them. Like I said, he's not paid me to say that. I'm just being nice. Right, where are we up to with this? 6 minutes in and we're still struggling. And I did realise, again, I've gone back to the curette here. And I think the key to this is actually where you can't see at the moment. And it's kind of spreading it around a little bit, so it is a little bit soft and squidgy for this, but bits do keep coming away. But the key to this is to the right hand side. I've not quite realised that yet, but you will see it in a bit, because between the first and the second bend, which is to the right here, there's a really hard chunk that's kind of wedged in there, and that's a really difficult spot to get to, because if you look straight on you can't see it. It's kind of hidden in the nooks and crannies, but this thing is wedged up against the second bend, which means that as I'm trying to bring this forward, it's not coming forward very well, because it's trapped on the right hand side, and only when you kind of scoop in and get that release between the first and the second bend does it finally start moving. And you will see that in a bit, and I think it is the suction that does that when I finally manage to grab it from that right hand side. But we are getting somewhere. There is a story actually behind this one, and this was a lady. Her age may have been mid-60s, I want to say. It was a while since I've done this procedure, but I think it was mid-60s. And she'd had trouble hearing for years and years and years and years and years. And when I asked her if she'd had a history of having blockages or having wax removed from her ear, she said, yeah, she used to get it done every 2-3 years. But she hadn't had it done for 20 years. I did ask her why not. She said, well, I just kind of got used to the fact that I couldn't hear very well. And a lot of people assume they're just losing the hearing as you get a bit older, which is not always the case, as she was delighted to find out when we got this out. Here it is, the bit I was talking about before. See the little white layer of freshly shed skin there? That's the key to it all. I know it's difficult to see, obviously, because like I said, it's right in that bend there. Difficult to fit a tool in there comfortably, because visibility is quite difficult there, because obviously you're really close to all the hairs. So what I've realised now is that I need to slowly move this from the right to the left. So if there's any loose bits like I'm doing now, I'll just get rid of those loose bits too, and then I'll try and get back into that portion to the right hand side there. But it is crumbling away. Actually, what you find behind this, it was quite shocking actually. It looked like, how can I describe it, like a prehistoric hedgehog. It was, I did wonder when I saw that if there's been a history of chronic and repeated cotton bud use, which is possible because it was so compacted, but because of all the hairs in there, just stay tuned for it, Because when I saw this, because I thought, as soon as I got this out, I thought that'll be it. That's all one piece, but oh no. There was another surprise waiting for me. And again, you can just see at the edge, there is the key to this thing. Trying to wrestle that from round that second bend. And can you see it just pop up from underneath? So it was kind of, that's like the key to the door, so to speak. As soon as you unlock that and get that from round that bend, then you can start pulling it, and then the whole thing starts moving. And it starts to come out. Looks a bit like a sausage from what I remember this one. Well, maybe like a chipolata. It was fairly substantial, but that wasn't it. Just needing a bit of a wriggle and a jiggle. And you can see a little more now, can't you, just how narrow this entrance is. Now you can't see it now there because I've actually gone really close in with the endoscope because I'm propping it open again. But as it gets brought through, you'll kind of see the ear canal just goes shoo. It's like sliding doors. As soon as I remove the endoscope, it just closes up. I have got one coming up that's the smallest ear entrance I've ever come across in my life. That I was going to record that today, but it's about 30 minutes long. I just haven't got time. I promise I will upload it soon. I'll just have to think of something to talk about for 30 minutes before I do it, which I don't always do. There we go. There's the little chipolata, and have a look at what is left behind. Prehistoric hedgehog. I wasn't wrong, was I? It's a shocker. And as soon as I touched up against this, I thought, oh no. What you won't see yet as well is how thick the layer of skin is around it as well. I'm just going to lift, there you go, can you see it now? And again, that just tells us how long this thing has been in there. But they don't generally end up like this unless they've had a bit of help. So it's possible that she just gave up getting her ear sorted with a professional and just thought, oh, I'll just do it myself. And those are years and years of hair, you know, and it can be from I don't remember having a particularly hairy ear entrance, but it can be just those that shed and fall off in there. Also haircuts, hair's kind of flying all over the place. It's more usual to get, look at that thick skin there. It's more usual to get that with men, because obviously a lot of men are a bit hairier. Don't ask me the reason for that, I don't know. I think it's something to do with hormones. I might be wrong on that. I'll maybe look that up before I talk about it next time. You have more hairs on the tragus and on the outer part of the ear, so this and tend to trim and have beards that trims and what have you. So you generally get it looking like this for men, really. But yeah, this thing is proper wedged. But I think as soon as the skin comes from around it, it does start moving a little bit better. Just needs a right good wiggle. And there we go. And it's given way. There we go. Wow. And now you can see the issue, can't you? That I was talking about with the entrance. What's they saying? Square peg, round hole. That's the issue we've got now. Because it's popped out the ear, then you can't really now prop open the ear with the endoscope. You can't put that against the first bend there, because you'll literally be bumped into the wax. You'll embed the endoscope in the wax, and that's no good. So gone back to the curette here to try and scoop this out. So I'm trying to get behind and then kind of do that around and down and scoop out motion. And yes, I am aware it's gone a bit blurry as well. It's all the oil that we've had to throw in there. But I think I've scooped it forward enough that I can lift it up with a suction there. Wiggle and a jiggle. Where's me pop? Where's me pop? There it is. A little bit late, but better late than never.
Yeah.
And you look at it a little bit angry at taking that, but unsurprising really, when you consider what's been hiding there for at least 20 years that we know of. And there they all are. Lot came out of that, not next to a ruler, but you can just see how much there is. It's a shocker. And this was the other one. And after I looked at this, I thought, oh, are you going to give me the same kind of trouble as the first one? But no, it didn't. This wax baby was quite well behaved. It's got a little grip, little jiggle, and popped it pretty easily. Hang on, not ready for that one either. Here it comes. One more. Look how airy it is. Another prehistoric hedgehog. One more. And pop. Out she comes. Another wax baby safely delivered. Guess I don't say it enough. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for sticking with it. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it if you could. If not, no worries. Just keep watching it anyway. But for now, take care of yourself. I'll see you later. Ta-da.